Hi there, this is Mark, or MKJR, the YouTube channel, and today we're just going to talk about the 2024 Chevy Traverse. So, some context. The Traverse is a full-size SUV, not a ladder or on-frame truck, that can tow and all that real well. It's a front-wheel drive, darn near minivan, but in denial about it, without the sliding doors, so you feel comfortable buying it and commuting with it. But, all kidding aside, I've known people that have upon these. I've always really disliked them because how the proportions and how they looked and how they drove, the big old turning circle. The interior was pretty cheap and flat, like not really good bolsters on the seats. At least older generations. The newest one's been a little bit better last time I got inside one. And I've had a lot of thoughts about it. And it has very tough competition. The new Nissan Pathfinder is very good. We have this ad right here. Telluride on it, outside, Super Ascent, a whole bunch of things that have been a little bit more updated, a little bit nicer. I mean, it's probably a little bit more unique, even last gen versus the Atlas, but this car has been needing an update. And from the looks of it, it's got it. So this right here is, okay, real quick on the design. It's kind of all the new designs of the Chevy EVs they've been doing, all the concepts they have, the new Silverado EV, the vehicles like the Blazer, and the Blazer EV has little cues from that. You can tell by the rear end. We're going to skip the interior for now. With the lights, I'm just going all over the interior. What the heck? But no, this lights right here have been in a trending design. This whole new design philosophy is a little bit more creased and edged, and versus the more like early mid 2000s Traverses that are kicking around, even heck the like 2013s and so on, that are a lot more bulbous and less defined. This makes it look more like a body on frame truck. Really, the closest thing appearance wise crossover for this is probably the Nissan Pathfinder. They did a few things with this. It's still front wheel drive or all wheel drive. I don't really like that as a platform for this big of a vehicle. Turning circles pretty bad, but it does help with packaging overall if they don't mess with it. The engine now is just a 2.5 liter. Had a V6 before. Now it's just a big 2.5 liter turbo 4. This thing was getting, I believe, 315 horsepower. Here it is. 315 horsepower versus the inline 6. Versus the V6. No inline 6 on the GM products. Some people think of this as always a downgrade, and on first impression, if you're going to say I'm having a V6 going to a 4-cylinder, I think lowly of that, but this isn't a 1.8 liter or a 2 liter turbo. This is a 2.5 liter. Good thing I've driven these big SUVs with these big turbo engines, and not the specific one, but they actually have quite a lot of power, a lot of get up and go. They feel pretty decent. It feels like it matches it. It doesn't sound amazing, but it's okay. Problem. I don't know what it says about MPG for this car, or if the claim's out yet, but they're not that much better. I mean, Super Ascent was like 18, 19 when I drove it. Not good. A big turbo 4. Honestly, a lot of the turbo engines versus natural aspirate in general don't receive much good gas mileage. So this may be better on gas mileage. And it is a newer engine, so it might actually be a more robust one, or it could be a complete crap show with a bunch of issues. You never know with this. But this is a very important car for them, so I imagine that they put a lot of care and effort for it. So I don't have trust in the brand in the sense of their SUVs and non-sports cars. So I'm going to reserve final judgment. So it could either be real good or not so great. But the Turbo 4 is not the end of the world. I would say for most people, if you have a vehicle of this size with the V6 already, if you drive any of the new stuff with the Turbo 4, you would probably be pleasantly surprised. Probably, hopefully, unless you're really anal about it. But I think it's going to be okay, personally. So, it looks better. It looks like a baby Tahoe. That's what people are referring to it in comments and threads. The Z51 package right here looks freaking great. One thing about the EV Chevys that's going out, they've been having this interior, this almost Cadillac Escalade OLED screens that they had. I don't necessarily believe these are OLEDs, but the design Q philosophy, where it's just brought around, and other vehicles like the Kia Telluride and Honda Passat already do this, to be fair, but they have large screens brought around all up to the front, and it's been a nice upgrade. I think it looks a lot better than honestly some like of the Cadillac interiors, and the Cadillac's gonna be based off this. So we look at the Cadillac XT6 interior. They had a design that was much more minivan or modest. So this is the design of the XT6, which is based on the Traverse, but upper end. And this design right here, just a little touchscreen, little HVAC controls. All this looks pretty cluttered. Doesn't look that impressive. The new Cadillac's interiors, besides the brand new designs, good materials, good build quality, in my opinion, for the newest ones, but the design's not the favorite. This right here, this has a way better use of space. It looks a lot less claustrophobic. Same car, by the way. Just different generation. A lot less claustrophobic, more open, more truck-like, or heck, and more of the full-on size Tahoe space. Sometimes when you get a mid-size truck or these full-size SUVs, the package of it is just not as spacious as a full-size truck or full-size vehicle. So thinking Tahoe, Silverado. What I mean that, not just trucks with a bed. This looks like it actually has a pretty good use of space. When it comes to fit and finish, all that, wouldn't be able to say for sure. It looks pretty plush. Doesn't look too flat. Some American products are pretty chintzy when you get in there. A lot less attention to detail at certain points, but you can tell that they paid attention for the trim. That's accent. This right here, Z51, is just, I don't know what it is. It looks like just a fun little material that they have. I mean, it's not anything big. So it looks like just colored plastic, little design. This is little cloth seats interior. The seats look like typical GM seats, these cars, vehicles. I'm glad that they don't do the vinyl. Sometimes before, when I was around like the Malibus, someone where they have the side bolsters in their pleather, it's very thin, and with the heat and contracting and how thin it was and the material, it just kind of crunched up and ripped really easy. Having the interior when it's cloth, just be cloth, is better off for this vehicle for aging. And hopefully they all come with leather wrap steering wheels, because that actually would be a nice perk. This vehicle does start pretty cheap, at least last gen did, so for how much space you got. So we'll never know with materials, but it doesn't look that bad. It being all cloth is probably a good thing. The leather, jet black option right here. There's no advertisement on the colors besides the red from here. There's gray as well. Premium cloth. Yeah, some contrast colors, some nice looking stuff in there. If you're buying this vehicle, I would probably recommend against the gray or the white. It does look a little bit better to the eye, especially with heat, wherever you're at. If you're in the southern states, it won't be as hot. Problem is, it's going to stain more from your clothing and from like liquid and other things. So with cloth materials, with lighter colors, I would be careful of that, especially because this is a family vehicle, and who knows how that's going to age. But overall, this thing has looked significantly better. This looks like a Tahoe / Blazer EV. It looks really good all in general. I like the design. I don't know how the fit and finish is. I don't know if the bolsters are going to give the seat quality, how it's going to hold up. They're advertising the full self-driving stuff, or their Super Cruise. That will be an advantage for stop-and-go traffic, especially, but I wouldn't trust it too much for actually autonomous driving. One thing that this has, which may not seem like a big deal, is it still has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There's been some news recently for the EV section of GM later on. I don't know if it's just going to be just the GM EVs or the gasoline ones as well, but they are rumored to get rid or have claimed to be ridding themselves of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto because they think they can do it better, do their own systems better, right? That's their own pride. That's their own situation. This car right here does not have that issue right now. So it has all the standard features. It's still just front-wheel drive platform. The engine is probably a nice upgrade. The looks are significantly better. And if this is the same price as the last one right here, 34 to 48, in the range of the Tellurides and the Pathfinder, so on and so forth, those are his competitors. I think people will be cross-shopping this one with the more rugged options. Maybe the lower options they'll cross-shop with a Pilot. But, with the interior tech you have, which is a big deal for a lot of people, this will be appealing. There may be cars that I would trust more, like the Pilot, but, while I may trust the Pilot or Highlander more, being a more liability-focused guy sometimes, but you look at the Pilot 23 interior. One second. You may notice that it just looks like a Civic interior. It's very good build quality, very good finishes. I trust it to hold up pretty well. But this screen, this actually doesn't look too terrible, but in person it looks absolutely tiny. So people that are a little bit more tech focused, that like the edgier styling of the of this car, the Pathfinder would be a good option as well. Telluride is a good option. I'd feel like for kind of the vibe this gives, it'd be a pretty nice option, especially with the dealer support where you're at, what you're comfortable with. But really, there's not too much going on underneath the chassis that was brought up. Nothing crazy that they're doing there. Just updated the platform, new engine line, get rid of the V6, updated interior, updated styling, and hopefully a competitive product in a very, very competitive segment. So anyways, please like the video if you liked it, or dislike it if you didn't like it. I try to do car news here and there once it's coming out about more generic stuff, more things that people actually drive, and just kind of talking to you like I would a friend, or just want to talk about in general for my own sake. So anyways, thank you for watching and take care.